high school, and I was already in a band. I kind of wanted to start another one that was more real, because the first band I was in was like a grind band.
My earliest remembrance is probably when they were Septic Orgasm. Wrap your mind around that one.
Didn't really go under the name the Acacia strain at that time. They were under Erebus, I believe was that name, or it could have been Septic Orgasm. They grew from so many different names and so many genres of music.
I released the Acacia Strain's very first album. How I got to know them was one day Scott Lee and Leah actually used to have a record store, Red Rocket, and one day I was just in there. Scott, and they sold some of the stuff I had, the releases I did, shirts and stuff like that. And one day I was in there and Scott was like, hey, you should check out this band, you know, blah, blah, blah. The singer kind of reminds me a little of you, the way he sings, you know, and gave me the CD, and it just so happened that actually Vincent and maybe one of the two Chris's who were originally in the band might have walked in, like literally at that moment as well.
This guy Toby from the band Aftershock, they long since disbanded, but he was in there, and he had this record label called Devil's Head, and Scott was talking to him, was like, hey man, you should check out this band, this is the singer Vincent.
So they walked in, and he was like, oh, here's actually the kid couple of the kids in the band, check it out. And I was like, yeah, we made small talk, blah, blah, blah. I went home that night, listened to the disc, and I think I called Scott back the next day and said, yeah, I really dig it, you know. So things kind of progressed from there, and we ended up releasing And Life is Very Long pretty quickly after that.
For some reason he was interested, and that's, you know, really where our first CD came from. Was it was on Devil's Head, and where we got a lot of our a real recognition in the area as a real band, and you know, a million lineup changes, and I don't know how many shows later where we are right now. So.
Or the first time I ever saw the Acacia Strain was at Fat Cats, probably in like 2003-ish. I think it was a Halloween thrash bash, and went up there with a bunch of friends, never heard of the band before, and I went up to their table and they had a bunch of free demos, so I grabbed one of those and we listened to it on the way home. Thought it was pretty horrible, and thought they were good live, but then once you heard it on CD, it was not good at all. Pretty bad, actually.
The Acacia Strain has evolved from many things. Vincent started in high school with high school band and doing shows at the high school, and with friends practicing downstairs and putting on little shows. They had one name, and then they had another name, and then they had another name, and then they were nameless for quite a while. So they went through some evolution and came up with a name, the Acacia Strain.
I remember I used to play in a band. I won't mention any names, but we used to wind up playing a lot of Scott Lee's shows in the Western Mass area, and there was this really heavy band with 3 guitarists, and it was just wild. It sounded like everything satanic coming out of these cabs, and the microphone, and these 3 guitarists was this really heavy, just sounding band. And I would always just look forward to the next time I saw them. But that's kind of how I remember them. I mean, it's been a long time now, so.
Basement shows started because my old band had nowhere to play, because we were so bad that no one wanted to put us on shows. So that's where that started, and my mom was actually pretty cool with it. It was weird.
Well, the basement shows were great. I mean, the kids, it was crazy here. It was absolutely crazy when they had the basement shows. There was no room for anybody. Some of the kids would have to, it got so hot. We would have the air conditioning on and all the windows open. And there were so many kids packed in here because they wanted to see them and get into it. And it was cool.
And they were free. So a lot of people usually came, and I just had my friends' bands come, and it was just kind of like get together. It wasn't like a party, because we weren't like party kids, but like, I don't know, it was like a show in a basement. And it got to the point where it happened like 7 times, which is weird. And one of the times my mom was gone, I don't think she knows we had 7. I think maybe she knows about 4 or 5 of them because she would go, camp. She used to go camping, whatever. And we used to have basement shows when she was gone, and it kind of evolved. We always play. Obviously, my band always played because of my fucking basement, but it evolved from that first band into Acacia Strain, and it kind of got to the point where it got too big. Like Acacia Strain, the last time we played in my basement, there was too many fucking people there. And like some girl locked herself out of the bathroom and peed in my driveway and like got a little out of hand because I didn't know half the people that were there. Which is at the beginning, I knew pretty much every single person that came.
Oh man, some of the best times of my life. I'm not gonna lie, I had so much fun back in the day. Vincent used to put on some basement shows in his basement, obviously. But I've seen a lot of good bands go through there, and I have a lot of ridiculous memories and just a lot of good friends hanging out pretty much, man, partying, having fun, rolling around in a carpeted basement, putting holes in walls, and just good old times. I don't know, man, you had to be there, really. I can't really explain them to you.
Scott Lee, come here. You want to see what touring with the Acacia Strain did to me? Look at this man. Come here. This man, get over here. Stress from the Acacia Strain has made this man lose massive amounts of weight. You heard of the Atkins diet? The Acacia Strain diet. That shit will trim you down into a lean, mean fight machine like this man right here.
Is Acacia Strain a fun band to tour with? Hell yeah. I mean, only time we toured with them was in December 2007. Tony Danza, Full Blown Chaos, Acacia Strain, us, fucking good times. I get to meet up with those dudes like once, twice, 3 times a year, and it's, yeah, man, got a lot of respect for everything they've done.
It was at one time we went, it was us, Acacia Strain, Flaming Lips, and 2 Live Crew, and the Acacia Strain were a bunch of jerks. They thought they were in a hip-hop group, and they had dumb moves. And Vincent was nice to me.
Yep, and he probably said something really offensive on stage, and it was funny.
There's not much to say about any of us. We're all a bunch of simple-ass dudes. Bunch of good simple-ass dudes. We got a fucking Jack, we got the Hick, we got the Connecticut dude, and we got the straight edge dude. And I don't even know what I am. I'm probably just a fucking idiot, but good bunch of dudes, good music. Love working with these dudes. They're the best dudes to work with, and hope we can fucking do it for a lot longer, man.
I think Jack might legally be a midget. I don't know what the cutoff is, but I'm pretty sure it's 4'11". Don't let him fool you. His penis is the size of a baby's arm. When he sits down to take a dump, it does actually hit the water.
He's a little dude. Jack's size. Jack is a really small man, and sometimes he likes to think he's a little bigger than that. I can remember one time we were in California somewhere, and he was by himself, and someone said something to him. It wasn't a person at a show, or someone had like a club or a bar around the corner, and I wasn't there, but I know Jack was like mouthing off to him. It was like him and one of his friends, and the guy, I think he said he was going to pull a knife on Jack or pull a gun out on him or something, and Jack was just like, what the fuck? So, I mean, he's a pretty small man, but I think he can fucking take care of himself.
Kevin's drum style, very, very hard-hitting, very aggressive. Went through like 3 snare drum heads in recording the drum tracks for the first song on Continent. So, I mean, that alone shows you how hard he hits. You know, he ended up having to switch to a marching drum snare head so he'd stop wrecking them during sets, because you can't have a snare drum head breaking while you're playing. Goes through more drum heads on tour than any human should ever in their lifetime. But very talented, very skillful, brings a lot to the table. I mean, all around amazing drummer. He can play any style. You know, he can learn anything really quick. I mean, you can't, in my opinion, you can't top him.
Well, the first time I saw Kevin play drums, he was in this band, 1,000 Falling Skies. And that said that, like, we needed a drummer. And DL was like, we should get this kid Kevin. He's really fucking good. So we were doing a tour 5 days with 1,000 Flying Skies, and Mark from Bury Your Dead was playing drums for us, and DL was like, we should get this kid Kevin. I was like, all right, I'll watch him play. And he's so weird. Like, he's so, like, upright and just doesn't move his head at all. And, like, I was just like, this kid will offer no stage presence, but he's a drummer, so it doesn't really matter. DL's like night and day, honestly. Like, on stage, people are like, DL's like the scariest dude. He's like huge and like mean looking, and he spit on me and blah blah blah, and like he's just so hard, and he's got all these moves, and he's got his neck tattooed and all this fucking bullshit where he has like a bandana around his head. He thinks he's in the fucking Latin Kings or something. He gets off stage and he's like, hey babe, what's up? How you doing? Yeah, I love you too, blah blah. Like, he's such a pussy. I don't want to say pussy, because he's not a pussy. He'll probably punch through my face for calling him a pussy, but he's not what his onstage persona is, I guess. Like, he's a funny guy, you know. He's not a hard ass.
On stage, you know, he's all mean mugged and looks all scary, but once he's off stage, he's just this little, might as well be this little 5-year-old kid running around at recess in 3rd grade. I don't think 5-year-olds are in 3rd grade. That's a little, but anyways, yeah. He's not really the same once he's off stage. I mean, if you piss him off, he's definitely not someone you want to be around. But it's definitely like it's like a cuddly little bear off stage, and just this mean jerk on stage.
DL is a fucking piece of work, but he's the raddest fucking dude I've ever met in my entire life. DL is... You can't even put DL into words, man. DL's fucking DL. There's no other dude that I've ever met in my entire life that's like DL.
How was it working and producing the Acacia Strain? The best part about that was they really had their act together. A lot of bands these days seem to not know how to play their songs that they wrote, and these guys knew exactly what they were doing, so it opened up a lot of doors for experimenting and really trying out a lot of new things, especially guitar-wise, vocal-wise, and all that kind of stuff. So that was one great thing.
They're probably the heaviest band I've ever heard, and they make it sound good and look good, and they have fun doing it, and they're all good guys, and that's probably why they're still doing so well after, 2001, 2002? Probably been doing it for, 8 years now?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. And they keep growing, really good following. A lot of their shows are sold out, and I'm very happy for them. I feel like a proud father figure.
The only joy I ever get out of life anymore is being on stage. And because of that, I put in 100%, when I get up there, even if I'm having a bad day or I'm tired or I'm sick. Like, it's the only thing that I do that actually puts me in a good mood, I guess, which is weird to say because I'm so mean on stage. But there's a definite chemistry between the band.
We try to keep it pretty high energy most of the time. Run around like a bunch of idiots, jump on stuff, jump off of stuff. After you jump onto the stuff, headbang our asses off. I don't know, we try to keep it as interesting as possible because when you go, if you like a band, you go and you listen to their record and you get into it and you want to see them live, and if it's, just the most fucking boring thing ever live, then you're not going to like that band as much anymore because you're going to lose respect for them. You're going to talk about how much their live show sucked and it wasn't interesting. Like, you need to keep people's attention because that's the point of a live show, is they're paying money for tickets to see you and watch you, play your music. So if you can't do that well live and keep people's attention, then there's no point in actually playing shows and being a live band. So that's why we try to keep it as interesting and fun and exciting as possible.
They're fucking insane. They're insane. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I've seen them in a lot of different places. It doesn't really matter where you put them. They're gonna blow the fucking roof off.
Live shows. Live shows nowadays are definitely a different dynamic, I think they were than when I originally started seeing them and signed them and stuff. They're a smaller unit now, less people and less clutter on stage, jumping around, bashing into each other, breaking stuff. It's definitely just a really good energy, I think, to see, because when a band is up there putting on a show like that, you can definitely tell that their heart's in it, and it gets the crowd into it too.
Pretty funny, we said something along the lines of, this sounds like, we heard Car Bomb and we said that's what it would sound like if the world ended, if you put music to it. And then they wrote a record about ending the world. That's weird.
The thoughts that come to mind are freight trains, 747s, tanks, atom bombs.
The Acacia Strain live they're really, really good. They're really heavy, and I think that the way that Kevin and DL kind of lock together and really just hold everything together real slow and solid is really good. I mean, they're the kind of band that when you go see, you want to smash people, and their shows demonstrate that, and they're actively encouraging the smashing. So it's a good time.
Two feelings. One, massive panic, extra paramedics on duty, liability, the injuries.
My thoughts about the Acacia Strain live probably goes a little something like putting a 1957 Cadillac full of infant children in a trunk and, just driving it off a cliff, dude, full of light bulbs, hits the ground, it just smashes, everybody's crying, fucking hell will rain down when the Acacia Strain plays!
As their lighting director during their live performances, I think they look phenomenal on stage. I mean, especially their lighting. They have a tendency to jump around a lot and move and shake their booties. And, it's pretty intense. Kids get into it. Vincent gets the crowd moving. Jack jumps up and down, so he tries to pretend he's as tall as Vincent. And DL likes to scare the crap out of people on stage and spit water at them. So, yeah, live performance is just intense and full of energy and, exciting.
I think we could definitely do a lot better. We're pretty bad live. Like, me personally, I always fuck up drum parts, and, Jack just looks weird. Vincent says all this stupid shit on stage, and it's embarrassing. DL just... I have no words to describe DL on stage. It's pretty bad, so I think we should work on our live performance a lot.
I think their live performances are pretty much fucking brutal, to say the least.
Their live shows are, definitely where they peak.
I never thought brown noise could actually be achieved until I heard this band. And then I saw it live, and yeah, if you haven't seen Acacia Strain live, then I don't think you've experienced it at all. So, yeah.
If you come to a Acacia Strain show, you should probably be ready for a couple things. You should be ready to not be able to hear the next day. You should be ready to get hit in the face a bunch, because it happens. And you should be ready to be kind of surprised at what is going to come out of my mouth, because I usually don't have any idea. It just kind of comes out.
I heard you were supposed to be malicious. I heard Australian kids were supposed to be violent. I ain't seeing shit. Prove to me that you're better than this. I want fists. I want anger. I want hatred. I want blood. And I want it tonight. Positivity
Vincent. It's got what he says, what it comes out with, it's him. If he tried to change it or somebody had him do certain things a certain way, it wouldn't be Vincent and the Acacia strain wouldn't be there anymore.
Oh, nothing he says is ignorant. Nothing. Vincent's completely on the money, and I think that's why we get along so well, actually.
As far as the shit that he says on stage, I think it's great. I love ignorance with a backing. You know what I mean? He really believes the shit that he says, and if he doesn't, he fucking fools me, because it's very believable.
Sometimes the stuff he says on stage is really funny. Sometimes it goes too far, and that in itself is funny too. What's really impressive is that the kids just react to it. I mean, when I went out with him on Sounds of the Underground was the first time I saw him, I think the Cleveland show, and watching 5,000 kids do pretty much whatever Vincent told them to do is definitely an impressive thing.
I think he sounds like a dinosaur. I'm pretty sure the most ignorant thing he ever said was, "Fuck the world, litter, throw your trash on the ground, this place is shit." God damn, I would wish those global warming assholes would fucking listen to 30 seconds of Vincent Bennett, dude. They get a fucking rude awakening of what it is to live.
Vincent's presence on stage is like watching Sasquatch run through the woods. It's intense. I mean, intense is the word of the interview. He moves around a lot, gets the crowd going, throws bottles of water at the kids, will yell at kids that are sitting in the front row on their cell phones and dump water on their cell phones. If the crowd sucks, he'll tell them that they suck. You know, he tries to get all the kids moving. He likes to hop around a lot, likes to do his little jog in place, but then gets winded because of how large he is. Or needs to take a hit of his inhaler because he jogs in place so long he drives himself to an asthma attack. And the ignorant shit he says on stage is awesome because he means every word he says. Not some people think it's a joke, and it's not really a joke. It's real when he says, "Fuck you, I hate you, worst crowd ever." You're the worst crowd ever.
Personally, I agree pretty much with every ignorant statement he ever made. So I back it 100%.
Go back and forth and see who could say like the most ignorant mosh call every night, and I don't really remember that many of those. Something like we said things like swing like your girlfriend said she was pregnant, and like move like you're the cutest guy in prison, like just weird stuff like that. And we would just try and come up with like the most ignorant thing we can, and there were a lot more offensive ones than that, but
That's how we proceed. Customized flow, detail top to bottom like a brand new fit job. It's hard not to spot them. Far as I see things clearer in the sight, I'm destined one day to see my name in lights.
I don't know where to start. I'm going crazy right now.
What do you think of these shoes?
I think I'm gonna cry.
I have a problem, and I think maybe it's because I don't do drugs or drink, or I have all this extra. I wouldn't say all this extra money, but I have extra money to spend on things that I don't actually need.
Vincent has lots of extensive collections. I remember when I first joined the band and went to Vincent's house, his entire room was lined with He-Man toys, like Todd McFarlane, like Spawn toys, and like horror movie toys, and one wall was just Hot Wheels, and all that stuff is gone. Also Star Wars toys, like every single Star Wars toy you can imagine on this kid's wall. He also has more shoes than I think my whole family combined. It's pretty ridiculous how many shoes he has. Like, why do you need that many shoes? You don't even wear them all.
Vincent's collections, he collects a lot of shoes, but I think it's awesome. He likes shoes, why not? You only live once.
My mom fucking hates it. My mom wants me to sell everything. And I guess if I found one person that could buy every piece of collectible garbage I have, I could probably buy a house. But I mean, if you want to buy every single thing I have, we could work out a deal, but I'm not going to be able to find somebody that is willing to drop that much money on shoes and pieces of plastic. Plus, if I had a house, I wouldn't have anything to put in it because all my shit would be gone.
Well, it's legal. It doesn't hurt anyone. He needs to have a special space for his things. Some things are time for some things to go, but it's, you know, everybody has to collect something and have a hobby. If this is what it is, then it's, I don't know, he needs to, I think he needs a storage room. We should probably add an addition on for the sneakers and the toys.
I think it's probably just like anything else. If you're a Star Wars nerd or if you're into stamps or some kind of shit like that, it's probably pretty parallel, except for happens to be sneakers or hats or some shit.
I started collecting shoes. I have an excessive amount of Nikes, mostly SBs. Mostly I don't wear most of them, which is, once again, everybody's going to look at me like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But I think it's an investment. My room is filled with shoes, boxed up with a picture on them, so I know what's in what box. I have a fucking problem. I cannot stop buying shoes. I have a fucking problem.
Fans meeting us is the fucking easiest thing in the world, because all we do when we get to a venue is set up our tent, set up our lawn chairs, and fucking hang out in the back by the trailer and sit there all day. And anyone that wants to come up to us and talk to us comes up to us and talks to us. And I mean, it's not like we're fucking douchebag rock stars or we think we're cool because we're in a band, because that's totally not a cool thing to do.
We are normally posted up very early outside of any show. If you get to a show around noon, which you shouldn't, because shows don't normally start until 7 o'clock, you'll find us underneath a tent on a sunny day in camping chairs, eating garbage. Not literal garbage, but like, you know, bad food. So if you want to come say hi, come say hi. We're pretty easygoing people. We don't really care. We don't really have that rock star attitude. We just want to hang out. We bought a fucking grill. We grill out. I think we lost it though. This kind of bums me out. We'll buy a new grill. Next summer you can see us on in a parking lot just grilling up some burgers. If you want a burger, bring some, because we're not going to give you any of ours, because fucking my burgers.
Future of Acacia Strain. I guess the future is always an unknown thing, but as far as what I would wish the future to hold for them, first and foremost, that they just are enjoying what they're doing. Because, you know, personally to me at this point in my life too, I think the number one thing is to just be happy with no matter what you're doing and what life's bringing you. So as long as they're still having fun doing what they're doing, that's probably my first and foremost wish for them as a band. Secondly, I hope the success level for them continues to grow.
Pretty much, I'm sure not too long after all you watch this DVD, this band is going to be done, because we're all going to just realize that there's no point in it anymore, and we all need to move on with our lives and do something that matters in life, you know.
The shit that's been going on with this band in its full-time career, who knows what'll, you know, maybe Kevin will grow 2 heads, you know, like, it's fucking impossible to determine whether we'll be a band tomorrow. You know, it's impossible to determine whether anyone will be a band tomorrow. But I hope, and this is a big hope, that we will be around for a very long time. I don't expect to be Aerosmith. I don't want to be 65 years old and doing this, because I won't live that long. But, you know, I hope to make it a good run, and it's been good so far, and I don't really want to give up yet. So as soon as it stops being fun, I think that's where I'll just stop. But, you know, we have a good 20 or 30 CDs left in us, so we'll see you in 2012, because we're all gonna die.
The future for TAS? All I have to say about the future for TAS is, fuck you. You guys wouldn't be anything without me. That's all I got. Eat shit. Fuck you.